Hey guys, it's Ty and welcome back to my channel. So happy new year, welcome to 2026. So in this video, I am going to be sharing my 26 books that I'm looking forward to in 2026. So all of these books are actually released in the first half of the year. I could potentially do another one at like that halfway mark, but honestly all of the books that I tend to be excited about usually come out in the first half of the year, so you may or may not see a part 2 to this. But as of right now, the 26 books that I want to talk about, they are going to be released in the first half of the year. So I am going to be using my iPad to look up some of these books because I honestly cannot remember the synopses for 26 books, especially for books that I haven't read yet. And then I also want to give you guys some release dates. So I have this broken down into releases by month. So we will go ahead and start with my most anticipated reads for the month of January. So the first one we have being released on January 6th, we have Through Gates and Garnet of Gold by Shauna McGuire. This is number 11 in the Wayward Children series. At the time that you guys are watching this, I have already read that book, and I will leave my thoughts for another day. But like I said, this is book number 11 in that series. It is a portal fantasy series. It is a series that I look forward to every year. I can't wait to get the next installment. And in this one, we are following a character that we have seen before, Nancy, and we are following her through her portal world, which is the Halls of the Dead, where some mysterious murders have been taking place. Again, this is going to be released on January 6th, and I have thoughts about that one. But moving on. So the next book that I'm really excited about, this is The Fair Weather Friend by Jessie Garcia. This is an adult mystery thriller, and this would technically be my second book by this author. The first one I read last year was The Business Trip, and while I only rated that one 3 stars, I loved how the story was being told. So I'm kind of curious to see what else Jessie Garcia will come up with next. But in this one, we are following this meteorologist, Faith Richards, who is murdered. And so obviously we're figuring out what happened to her. So I'm really curious to see how the author is going to tell this story, but I'm excited about it. So the last book that I'm really excited about for January, and this is an author that I look forward to their books every year. This is The Redo List by Denise Williams. This is a adult romance. So this is supposed to be published on January 27th is what Goodreads is telling me. So do not quote me on any of these release dates. They are subject to change. I'm just telling you what they are at the time that I'm filming this. So in this one, we are following this woman, Willow. She has experienced a really bad breakup. And so because of that breakup, she comes up with this list that's called the Redo List, where she's trying to redo really important moments. And so she gets the help of one of her brother's friends, and then I'm sure a romance ensues. Like I said, every year I'm really looking forward to Denise Williams' books. There was one book that I really loved by Denise, and it was called How to Fail at Flirting. It is my only 5-star that I have given this author, and I think I'm still chasing that high. While I have enjoyed her other releases, nothing has seemed to be able to top that one, but we'll see with this one. So moving on to my February releases that I'm really excited for. The first one is supposedly being released on February 3rd, and it's called It's Not Her by Mary Kubica. This is another adult mystery thriller. Now, I am still new to this author. I've only read one of their books. The first one that I read from them is Local Woman Missing, which I read last year, which I really enjoyed. And because I enjoyed this one, now I am on board with this author, and I'm looking forward to reading something else. I have seen people who have received ARCs. I was not approved for an ARC for this one, but it has been getting really good early reviews. So I'm really, really excited about this one. So this says, a stunning discovery, a shocking investigation, a truth no one could have imagined. 2 families vacationing at a secluded lake resort are at the center of a chilling crime and mysterious disappearance in this twisty, unputdownable thriller. So I'm already sold on the secluded lake resort, so I hope that I enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed Local Woman Missing. Also being released on February 3rd, we have Here Lies All the Boys Who Broke My Heart by Emma Simmerman. This is a young adult mystery thriller, and this one caught my attention because it says it is being compared to to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and you guys know I love that book. So in this one, it says it's about a murder mystery about a college student whose senior year takes a deadly turn when her exes start turning up dead. I, for one, found that to be a little funny, and I'm intrigued. Anytime we start getting ex-boyfriends that show up dead, I'm here. So next up, being released on February 17th, this will be my first book by this author, but it is When I Kill You by B.A. Paris. This is a adult mystery thriller. Now, I have seen this author's books floating around for a while, but this one really intrigued me, and it really intrigued me once I was able to get an arc of it. So I have an arc from NetGalley. But this one follows this woman, Nell, and she believes that someone is following her. And years prior, she actually witnessed somebody getting into a stranger's car, and that person ended up dead, and she was obsessed with trying to figure out what happened. And now she thinks that that secret has come back to actually haunt her. So I'm really excited about this one. If you guys have read anything by B.A. Paris, please let me know. I'm curious to see how I'm going to like this one. Another one that is coming out on February 17th, we have They Call Her Regret by Chanel Des Samores. This is a YA horror. So last year, I was actually sent a copy of their debut book, which was called Needy Little Things, that I really enjoyed. So I was excited to see that they have a new release for 2026. And this one says it's a speculative mystery horror where a teen must find a way to free a cursed witch in order to save her best friend before time runs out. I don't read many stories about witches, so I'm curious to see what this author is going to do with that. Okay, we have another one that is also being released on February 17th, and this one, I have seen early reviews for it and they seem kind of mixed, but it is Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. The last book that I've read by this author is The Last Word. Yeah, The Last Word, which I really enjoyed. I'm not sure if there has been a book released since then, but because I really enjoyed that one, I'm really looking forward to this one despite the mixed reviews. And it says it's the story of two friends who embark on an ill-fated caving expedition in the dark truth of what happens deep underground. Now that is actually a fear of mine, is when I'm like on TikTok and I see those like stories of people who have died in caves, they've decided, I don't know, for some reason to go cave diving, that terrifies me. And I'm not necessarily like scared of like tight enclosed spaces, but something about being in a cave somewhere you're not supposed to be, that terrifies me. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The last book that I'm looking forward to read in the month of February that is released on February 24th, we have Nowhere Burning by Catriona Ward. This is a adult horror mystery thriller, and this one really intrigued me. So I've only read one other book by Catriona Ward, which was Sundial, and boy was that was a story. So this one is set in the Rocky Mountains, and we follow this brother and sister who are trying to escape where they're from. And so they come across this ranch that has other children, and these children are considered to be a group of feral children. And in this ranch, like, no adults are allowed to enter. But the kids that are already there, they're called Nowhere Kids, and they are fiercely defending their home turf. So I don't know what this brother and sister are gonna have to do, but I'm intrigued. Anything that I read that has to do with like, or any description that says it has to do with like feral children, I'm there. The next one that I'm really excited for, and it is the only book that I'm excited for at this point in time that is being released in March. It actually comes out on March 31st. It is What We Did to Survive by Megan Lowley. This will be the third book that I have read from them. I actually have an arc. I was so excited when I got approved for the arc because their last two books, let me find out what they were. That's Not My Name and No Place Left to Hide, I really enjoyed. I actually really enjoyed No Place Left to Hide more than their first book, which is an unpopular opinion because it seems like everyone has really been enjoying That's Not My Name, which I did enjoy, just not as much as the other book. So I'm really excited to read this new one. This one is about a group of teens who are on spring break, and they decide to go on a vacation in Mexico, and there is a storm brewing. Although the storm is brewing, these teens have decided to take like this sailboat out onto the water, and now they are trying to survive. Can't wait. So I have quite a few books that I am excited to read in the month of April. The first one being released on April 7th. This is book 2 in the Shield of Sparrows. It is Rights of the Starling by Devney Perry. I am currently reading Shield of Sparrows right now. I have really been enjoying it. I'm enjoying it so much so that I know that I'm going to enjoy it to the very end, and I'm looking forward to book 2 already. So this one just says it's a princess journey across a cursed realm to find the truth about her family, only to discover her quest entwines with the fate of a lost warrior. Basically, in this world, it's a world that's filled with monsters, which I have found to be really interesting. I'm not going to say much about this second book. I think the blurb was enough, but I'm really looking forward to this one. So the next one that I'm really interested in, and it's also released on April 7th. This is Year of the Mer by L.D. Lewis. This is a Little Mermaid retelling, and I'm excited about this one because I have not read a Little Mermaid retelling, and I actually like mermaids. They kind of scare me. Like, it's kind of weird. But in this one, it is a adult fantasy, and it's a dark, bloody, epic fantasy that goes far beyond the fairy tale to explore family, legacy, and war, and what we will sacrifice for vengeance. It says it is perfect for fans that have read The Priory of the Orange Tree and Circe, 2 books that I have not read, so I don't know if those will be good comparisons. I really like the cover, and if this is in fact the special edition that we're gonna get for this one, I think I need it. The next book that I'm really excited for releases on April 14th, and you guys know that this is probably one of my most anticipated reads for this year. So this is book 2 in the Forever Falling series. This is The Art of Falling by Natasha Bishop. The first book in the series ended up in my best books of last year, which was Only for the Week. Absolutely loved that book. A few of you have actually told me that this book was being released this year, and I cannot wait to read it. So this says, it's about a intimate bucket list road trip, sexy banter, and a sweet and spicy second chance romance. We are following Danny Jenkins, who is a influencer, and her love interest, Micah, who's an artist, and I cannot wait to read this book. Like, I cannot wait. I don't care what I am in the middle of reading. I will stop as soon as this book is released. I can't wait. Another book that's a part of a series that I'm really excited to read that also is coming out on the 14th, that is Big Girl Blitz by Danielle Allen. It doesn't say it here, but I'm pretty sure this is book 3 in the Curve series. So the first book is Curvy Girl Summer. The next book was Plus Size Player. And now we have this one, Big Girl Blitz. And this one is following Jasmine. So in each of those books, we were following a different friend. The first book, we were following Aaliyah. The second book, we were following Nina. And so I'm really curious about Jasmine's story because while she was in the other books, we didn't really see that much of her, but what we did see of her, she was going through some things in her personal life. Like I said, we're following Jasmine, and in this story, it looks like her love interest is going to be Lamar. Something about this is telling me that this one might be a little bit more emotional than the last 2 books, but whatever it is, I can't wait for it. So the next book that I'm excited to get to in the month of April, we have Mad Mabel by Sally Hempworth that is expected to be released on April 14th, April 21st. It's coming out on April 21st. And so I have found out that I have actually really enjoyed Sally Hempworth's books. The last couple that I've read, I really enjoyed, especially, I think it came out last year or the year before last. It was called Darling Girls. I really enjoyed that one. It says this is adult mystery thriller, in case I didn't say that. But this says there are 2 kinds of people no one ever expects to be: little girls and old ladies. And in this one, we're following this like 80-year-old woman, Mabel, and I believe she used to kill people in her past. It's kind of giving me the same kind of vibes of Too Old for This that was released by Samantha Downing last year, that was also about an old woman that used to kill people. So I'm curious to see how similar these two books are going to be, but I'm still excited for it. The next book that is also released on April 21st, which I'm so excited about, it's called The Drop by S.R. Masters, and it is a adult thriller. And I'm really excited about this, but it also terrifies me because I love roller coasters. Like, that is my thing. I love me an amusement park. If I am in a state where there is an amusement park, best believe I will be trying to find myself there. However, in this book, we are following these people who actually get stuck on a roller coaster with no way down. So I'm really excited about this. However, this is another book where I've seen a couple of early reviews and they seem to be more on the mixed side, but that is not going to deter me because I need to figure out for myself whether or not I'm going to enjoy this one. So I'm excited for it. So now we are moving on to my May releases, and the first one that is going to be released on May 5th. This is The Last Contract of Isako by Fonda Lee. This is a adult fantasy, and I'm really excited because you guys know I love me some Fonda Lee. The Greenbone Saga is one of my favorite fantasy series, so I'm excited to see what else she comes up with next. I'm not sure if this is going to be a series or if this is going to be a standalone. This says this is a it's a standalone. It's a searing standalone space opera where corporate samurai fight beneath merciless stars and death is always a mere breath away. And we are following a legendary swordswoman. So a swordswoman in space. I'm curious to see how this is gonna go, but I'm excited. Fonda Lee has not led me astray yet, so I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy this one. Next up, for a release date of August 12th, we have The Anniversary by Alex Finlay. This is a adult thriller. And I've only read one other book by this author, and let me see what that was because I don't remember. It was Parents Weekend. It was actually my first book by this author. I've had this author recommended to me a few times, and I thought The Parents Weekend was fine. I was intrigued while I was reading it. Not a new all-time favorite, but this one sounded good. So this one says, every year he comes for them. So there was an incident that took place in 1992 that involved two 17-year-olds, Quinn and Jules, and ever since then, like, their lives have been intertwined, and something takes place every day on the anniversary of the day that thing happened to them. So I'm intrigued. I haven't really heard anyone say anything about this one, but like I said, I enjoyed the previous book that I read from Alex Finlay, so I'm sure I'll probably enjoy this one as well. So another one that is released on May 12th that I'm also really excited for. Like, I was so sad when my request for an art got denied. It seems to be happening to me a lot. So it is We Dance Upon Demons by Vaishnavi Patel. This falls under a lot of different categories. It's adult, contemporary, fantasy, horror fiction. So this one is a standalone contemporary fantasy following a burnt out reproductive healthcare worker as she fights back against escalating attacks on her clinic and the malevolent forces in hot pursuit of her newly acquired power. I've never even read the rest of that. So just that little blurb got me. I love the cover of this book, and just reading anything about healthcare workers, because I am a healthcare worker myself, I am really intrigued by. So I'm really looking forward to this one. The next one that I'm looking forward to, and this is my last May release that I'm looking forward to, which is going to be released on May 19th. This is The Shippers by Catherine Center. This is an adult romance. And I have not read anything by this author before, but I have seen their books, and that I've heard that name circulating around a lot lately. And so this one is basically a romance about a destination wedding on a cruise ship. I am somebody that likes cruises. I am going on a cruise actually in May. So maybe I will get this to bring, actually no. I was gonna say I was gonna bring it on my cruise, but I would have already came back by then. But I enjoy cruises, so the fact that this is a romance on a cruise ship, please sign me up. And I've been wanting to check out something from this author, so hopefully this will be a good place to start. So I only have one release in June that I'm really excited for. That is The Breakup Retreat by Camilla Steen. This is a adult mystery thriller. And this one follows an undercover journalist who goes to expose an exclusive psychological wellness clinic where women go to recover from heartbreak with dire consequences. That sounds like a good time to me. Well, probably not for them, but it kind of sounds like it's giving like cult vibes. And I love anything that has to do with a cult. So hopefully this one will be good. So I only have a few more books to talk about, and the next few are going to be our releases for July. Now this should be no shock to anyone, but Lisa Jewell is coming out with yet another book, and yes, I am excited for it. It Could Have Been Her. This one is a psychological thriller. It is about a lost dog, a missing woman, and a mysterious house. I honestly have not read further than the blurb. All I saw was Lisa Jewell's name, and sign me up because I'm looking forward to her releases every year. A book that is going to be released on July 14th that I'm really excited about because I read a book from this author last year, Smile for the Cameras, which I honestly really enjoyed. I have not seen a lot of people talk about that. People should be talking about that because it was really good. But this is Scary Movie Night by Miranda Smith. So this is a thriller, and it takes place at a horror-themed birthday party that turns deadly when guests start disappearing, and the birthday girl realizes that she must face a long-buried secret to make it out alive. That sounds like fun to me. A horror-themed birthday party. Not sure I would do that for myself, even though I love horror. I don't know. I'm not sure I would do that for my birthday, but I can't wait to read about this girl's birthday. Being released on July 16th, we should not be surprised that I'm also anticipating this one because another book is being released by my homegirl, Sherry Lapina. This is Getting Away with Murder, another adult mystery thriller. All I'm gonna read to you is that it says, she loves her husband, but she might love their house more. So it looks like this is about a couple that has to try and save a house that the husband had inherited. And as the title, as a little blurb says, she might love their house more. So I don't know, she's gonna have to choose between the house and her husband. Interesting, but I'm here for it. So I only have two more books to talk about. They're both being released in August. The first one is being released on August 4th. This is another author that I look forward to their books every year. I think we all do. That is The Unknown by Riley Sager. I'm always interested to see what they will give us next because you honestly just never know. Now, the last two releases, so that last one, well, not the last one, the one before last, Middle of the Night, I did not like. And then this one, With a Vengeance, that came out last year, I thought it was fine. I definitely didn't hate it as much as some other people did. So I'm really curious to see what this new one is going to be like. It's another like historical mystery thriller. So this one says, in 1926, 5 women disappeared from a remote island in Vermont. Now 100 years later, it's happening again. Interesting. I love me a remote, secluded location. So I'm curious to see what he's going to do with that one. And then the last book that I am excited about that is to be released by August 11th is Stay Buried by Jennifer McMahon. This is an adult horror. I have not read anything from Jennifer McMahon in a while. I don't think she had anything that was released last year, but her last few releases I have enjoyed, but nothing has lived up to The Winter People. Like, that was probably my favorite book by her. So hopefully, maybe this one will do it. So this is a queer folk horror in which a woman must confront decades of secrecy and superstition to learn the truth about her mother's death. And this also talks about, it says some towns stay isolated for a reason. Looks like we're getting an alternating timeline between 1919 and 2016. This is something that Jennifer McMahon has done in books previous, so I'm curious to see how I'm going to like this one. So these are all of the books that I am excited about so far in 2026. Now, I mentioned in the beginning, most of the books that I'm excited for, they are released in the first half of the year. However, if I start to see some books that are released later in the year that I'm super excited about, then I will do a part 2 to this. But please let me know down in the comments any books that you are really excited for in 2026. But I will see you guys next time.